I feel like that's one of the ways in which he can recover from the inflation on gas prices is say it's patriotic to pay $10 a gallon.
I'm not sure that.
I just feel like it's that kind of sentiment is so universal now that people are going to be willing to sacrifice.
Well, I hope that's the case. But you know, I mean, I hope people are willing to sacrifice. I was not, obviously, none of us were old enough to remember 1938 and 39. But boy, do I have the feeling that this is sort of the start of an assault on Europe. And the kind of tactics the Russians use of cluster bombs and aiming for apartment buildings, and they're such a really an apt military when you think about it. They can't move a convoy, and these guys are fighting them in the streets without an air force. I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of Americans who are saying, and I understand why we can't do this. Why don't we just get a squadron of jets and take out that convoy in 10 minutes and turn this war around? But in any event, whether Americans, I think, obviously during World War II, we all sacrificed. And if there's a real threat that this could spread, plus the scenes on television every night, maybe they'll be willing to pay more for gas.
Yeah, and I'd just add that I think I don't know how patient they'll be. They'll pay some more, but I think the sacrifice that's going to really have the impact is what's happening in Russia.
Right.
The economic impact, some of the stories coming out about how Russians are getting information, even around their government, and the fact that they thought this war was never going to happen, and now all of a sudden, a few thousand Russians were killed, and then you've got Russian soldiers who were saying, we didn't come here to kill these people. I mean, what's going on? And they abandoned their vehicles. So if I tell you the best thing politically, in terms of if you wanted one option or one outcome, and it would be for the Russians to remove Putin. I mean, if he gets to November and somehow Putin is no longer in office, that would be a huge victory for the world, but certainly for Biden.
I guess one of the most dangerous things that's happened to Putin is IKEA has closed all their stores in Russia.
Russia is going to be completely isolated. I mean, this morning, whatever the system is of air traffic control kicked them out, so they can't even get planes. They can't even book passengers.
Yeah.
On Aeroflat.
But I still think oil is the real. Yeah. In terms of,
but their exports are already declining pretty rapidly. I mean,
it's more like SWIFT and the European countries. There's a caveat where you still can use SWIFT for oil purchases in Europe, that kind of thing.
Well, I understand that, and I mean, I suppose you could shut it down completely. Basically all their exports, but as I understand, they have gone way down in the last week.
Well, it's just be interesting to track all this.
Right.
Thanks, guys.